Hello.
Hi, Heather.
Hi, Sandy. How you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, sorry. I'm going to have my camera off because I've just picked up dinner and I'm driving home.
Okay. Oh, okay. Crikey. A lot's happening at once.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. Doing well. Back into it. Kids started school back this for term 2 today.
Yes. Yeah, my son did as well.
Yeah, I think I can focus better as of today.
Yes. Yes. How old are your children?
5 and 8.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
How old are yours?
15.
Ah, yes. I'm looking forward to.
Hi, Mitesh.
Hey Heather, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, very good, thanks.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
How was your break? Your extra
Yeah,
days
yeah,
off?
yeah, it was good, was good. Um, yeah, spend time with friends and family.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, yeah. How was yours?
Yeah, similar.
Similar.
Yeah,
Right, right, right.
yeah. A bit of work because we're doing these podcasts and we're trying to get one out a day, so that just involved a little bit of work, but not too
Mm,
much, luckily.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So you do these events every, how often do you do these events? Or this is,
I was doing them every fortnight and then I've kind of stopped a bit, but yeah, I think I'll do them every 3 weeks or so, I reckon.
right, right.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Bianca. Hi, Amanda. How you
Hi, good to
doing?
see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm
Hi,
enjoying
Amanda.
I'm looking at your posts, Bianca and Amanda. Always love your LinkedIn posts.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Always
My
inspiring.
best.
You weren't at the in fact, so Sandy, Amanda, and Bianca all go to Edsy's, but oh no, Amanda did, yeah, but Bianca and Sandy weren't there.
I wasn't there last Friday. No, I couldn't
Yeah.
make it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people that were there the week before, the time before, weren't there
Oh, okay.
on Friday. Yeah, there was a whole,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was there. So my wife Lana's going to join us as well. So
Oh, sweet.
just
Oh,
waiting for her.
excellent. Yeah, great. We'll give it another couple of minutes and then we'll get going.
Awesome. I'll switch my sound off.
No worries. Yeah, I noticed that actually. Yeah, you've had your hair cut.
Yes.
Very
Yes. I needed a change.
Yeah, wow, how
So it
lovely.
was a big chop because it was down here. So big chop. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Love it.
beautiful.
Looks very nice, Bianca.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And you've got the setup there too with the microphone. That's very impressive.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm relaunching my podcast, so I had to get a different mic.
Yeah, nice one.
Serious mic, that one.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, nice
Hello.
to meet you.
Sorry, it's been a bit of a hectic day.
Fine. Okay, well, Amanda has to jump off at 7:30, so I think we should get going. So I'm just going to start my presentation. Cool. Right, can everyone see that? I'll put you at the top. There you go.
Yep.
Okay, so welcome to the 6 steps to financial freedom. I'm so happy that you're here. So thank you for coming along. And I shall just give you a little background about me. So I have been investing since I was a little girl. I was one of the sort of lucky ones, I guess, because my dad was very forward thinking and he introduced me to investing when I was really little. And in fact, when I was 6 years old, I remember just being part of that conversation. We had our insurance salesman used to come round and they used to knock heads together and discuss different investments, and I was just there, part of the conversation. And I guess I've just been investing my whole life really after that. So, and in England, you didn't really talk about money, so I didn't really know what people were doing, and I just kind of assumed people did know what was going on and they were investing. But as I got older, and I just got the impression, don't talk about money, but I just got the impression that others weren't doing it. So it wasn't really till I came to Australia 5.5 years ago that I kind of outed myself as an investor and really kind of discovered that people really weren't doing that. And in fact, quite the opposite. And people mainly think if they want to earn more money that they have to get another job or they have to work more hours. And it's always about putting more grind into it rather than having a more strategic approach and thinking, well, actually, there are other ways of making money, and you can actually have streams of income coming in when you're not actually working at all. It's, even when you're sleeping, even, when you're not working at the weekends and on holiday, the money can still come in. So it's that I want to just kind of communicate, really, that it's just not the only way. There are other ways, and it's always thinking about, it's just getting into that investor mindset. I'll be talking about that a little bit later. It's just thinking a little bit differently, just not a lot differently, but it's just subtle tweaks that make your existence slightly differently. So my own investments, I have an investment account, and it increased 2.5 times under 5 years. And I'm a trained quantitative researcher. I've been researching for 15 years as with clients like Dyson and Co-op and British Gas, and advising them on their consumers and really understanding human behaviour. So that's kind of the sort of theme, is just really understanding what makes people tick. And I'm an NLP practitioner as well, and it just really, I like to get to underneath and understand why people do the things they do. So, and our company, Raw Energy, or Finding Equilibrium, is all about enhancing well-being holistically. So it's all about well-being rather than just money for money's sake. It's money for becoming a well person and having that equilibrium across all areas of your life. So I wondered if you knew that financial distress is the #1 cause of depression and indeed divorce. So it's a really, really big problem. And I guess, it's not surprising for a start, because none of us were taught this at school. So it's not something that one would be expected to learn. Everyone sort of stumbles around, and some people get it and some people don't. And, a lot of people, if they do get it, they learn it the hard way. They make a lot of mistakes along the way. So it's just really unfortunate that it isn't a priority in schools, because obviously we learn about history and geography and all of these other subjects, but the thing that we use every day, we're not actually taught about. So I guess my purpose really, because I love investing, it's my joy, I really, really love it. And I want to impart that it is fun, because I think a lot of people think that it's really dull and boring and too hard basket. They just give it to other people because it's just too much, because they just don't know. So I'm paying it forward, and thanking my dad, who was so wonderful, and I'm just paying it forward now to help others to really understand it as well, and to enjoy the benefits of it. So there is a way forward. Just everyone can start whenever. It's never too late to sort of understand and learn the techniques. So that's that's the good news. So even though we're not taught in all of those things, we still have the opportunity to learn. And there's lots and lots of practical things. So whatever the economy, there's different techniques to do in different economies, and we're going through a volatile time right now, but you have to just know what the tools, there's loads of free tools you could use to see the things that are going up. Even in these times, there is money to be made. So that's always empowering as well. So as I said, this is our model. So we talk about mindset, physical connection to yourself, to the universe, to a higher being, to your career, to the environment, your money and your time. So it's equilibrium across all of those different things, and within those things, because obviously, you don't want to be too far on the money side, for example, otherwise you're miserly. So it's just, or you don't want to be too spendthrift. So it's getting the balance right between all of those things and making sure you have equilibrium overall. So So the step one in the 6 steps of financial freedom is really understanding your money story. And in some ways that's key to it all, because it's like the things that happen to us over the years, all those things, the stories, and we all have a money story. We all have things that happen to us throughout our lives that really shape our opinion about what money is, how it works, how easy it is to come by, and just our relationship with it, how successful we are, how worthy we are to have money. So everyone is different, and we all got programmed in the first 7 years of our life. So I guess it was probably for survival, because, in the olden days when we lived in villages, things didn't change that much. And I guess you learned from your parents and the people that cared for you and the people in the village. And that was, you're just open to understanding the things around you because you had to survive. But, we don't live in a village now, and we don't know that we're being programmed. In those early years, we absolutely have no idea. And our parents didn't know they were programming us either. So it's all happening accidentally. And, there's a story about this little girl. She's really happy. She come back from school. She was singing. And the mother had a hard day. She'd worked. She said, "Oh, just shut up. Your awful voice is getting on my head." That one phrase destroyed her singing. Like, the girl never sang again because she didn't realize it, but the mother had programmed her child to think that she was a bad singer. And so you can imagine over those 7 years there were a lot of opportunities for that kind of thing to happen. And obviously around money, it's such an emotive topic, and it surrounds us in terms of our sense of self-worth. There's just so much that it kind of triggers because it goes very, very deep. It so goes deep. So anything that happens, it kind of goes back to all those experiences, all those things that happened when, to your parents, to their relatives, even to ancestors. It all comes through because you just don't know, which bits are having an effect. But all of those things that has happened in the past actually have a bearing on how you behave and how your relationship with money and success right now. So it's quite deep work, and I think it's not just about money, really. I think money is as a byproduct, but it's bigger than that. It's about you, and when we look at your story, it's about understanding how you are and then trying to rewrite your story to make it more appropriate for you and to build you up and to have a better existence overall. And money just happens to be a positive byproduct of all of that, because that money is a reflection of you. So the question is, what you believe about yourself is your reality. So, do you feel worthy? Because if deep down you don't really believe that you are worthy of having an abundant life, then how can you create abundance? It's like, you set the scene by your own thoughts and your own opinions, especially about yourself. So it's that piece of just really, really working on yourself as the kind of fundamental. And then we can go on to doing all the practical side of things. We can learn how to invest. But if you don't get that piece right, then how are you going to hold on to it? You just push it away again. And it's just the classic tale of just, imagine all those lottery winners. About 70% of lottery winners within the first 2 years have either lost it all or they're bankrupt. Why is that? You'd think that would be the best thing that ever happened. They'll make their lives forever, but they don't. They get rid of it in all different ways. And obviously it's not conscious. So why is it? And I would say 9 times out of 10, it's because they don't feel worthy of it. And they just can't relate to it. And so they just have to sort of subconsciously, they get rid of it. And do you love yourself? So it's kind of related, of course, but it's like, it's are you enough? And 80% of people, including actors and pop stars and people you think would be so successful, they don't believe they're enough. And that's really, really tragic, because it ruins your life. It ruins your existence, because you're kind of going through life that lens of just not enoughness, you know, and I spent many years in that, so I can speak with such experience, because I really didn't feel enough, and I've worked really, really hard to sort of build my self-esteem. And you know, I now, you know, I had this mask I wore, and I felt like I was, you know, climbing over treacle every day, but it's gone. It doesn't, I don't have that anymore. I've just worked so hard on myself, and it's like a liberation. I can just be who I want to be. I can say what I want to say. I can think what I want to think, and I actually know what I think now, because I used to just have an opinion of what I thought other people thought I should say, so I never had my own opinion. So I'd had this sort of mask that I wore all the years. So none of that. I am who I am, and I unapologetically, I guess. So but that's taken a lot of years, but I do know what I mean when I say that a lot of people feel not enough, and I said 80% of people. So Marissa Peer gives a really good tip, you know, just to write "I am enough" on your mirror in lipstick. Every day you see "I am enough, I am enough," and you can even go better than that and just say, "I am amazing." You know, enough isn't enough, really, because enough is just base level, right? So it's just like, I am amazing, I can do anything. And if you see that every day, that's the start of that reprogramming. So you have to believe it's possible. So you believe you can do it, then you believe it's possible. But then if other people have done it, then of course it's possible. So why not for you as well? So it's just starting to sort of put chinks into your belief system. And when you see that there are chinks, then you can kind of crack it open and just say, well, yeah, of course it's possible. Okay, so now we're on to step 2, which is to harness the universal energies. So I'm excited. I love this topic. It's so exciting, and you know, and it so works, because even though you may or may not believe it, you may not know it, but these universal energies are working anyway. So it's all happening. It's all these laws, you know, it's just like gravity. There are just various laws. In fact, there are 11 universal laws, apart from other things as well, that are just happening in the background. And if you know about them, you can harness them and utilize those energies. And if you don't know about them, well, they're utilizing anyway. So you may be kind of inadvertently pushing it all away because you haven't harnessed it. So it doesn't take too much sort of, you know, time or energy to sort of just get those the universal energies on side, so you can kind of make sure it's kind of working with you rather than against you. So yeah, it's just harnessing those energies. There's 11 different universal energies, and also there are lots of other things. There are physical laws, there are Western practices, Eastern practices, indigenous wisdom, all the universal laws, and just personal experience. So I'm kind of, because I'm a researcher by trade and by nature, you know, I have to sort of research. This is why this program exists, because I want to just think of every different things that impacts abundance, you know, and it isn't just about, you know, what the latest tip is for a share going up. You know, it's much bigger than that. So I, you know, just go through every corner of the universe, just looking for different things that impact one's well-being and one's abundance. So it's very exciting. And, you know, just for example, you know, just bringing in feng shui, which is, you know, which I feel is something which is kind of similar to astrology. So astrology is like the bigger picture, and all these planets are having an effect on everything in terms of your life, and especially all the energies. So I just think of feng shui as something which is the sort of a microcosm of that. It's just in your home and making sure those energies are flowing freely, and, you know, just thinking of the energies more like a river, and just thinking how can they flow through. So, you know, it kind of makes sense. Okay, so Zoom just gave me a message. So yes, so that's it. And then you know, the universal laws, one of the universal laws is the law of cause and effect. You know, so you have to plant the seed in order to reap the benefits, to get the fruits, to have the shelter from the tree. If you forget to plant the seed, you don't get the benefits later on. It's just cause and effect. Sometimes it's interesting that when you have the effect, you know, you planted that seed so long ago, you've forgotten that you actually planted it, so you don't actually realize that you actually put something in place. But then it still comes through, you know, it's still happening anyway, and then you reap the benefits. So I very much see life as just planting lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of seeds. And it's the more seeds you can scatter around, the more opportunities you have that they will make it through and help you down the road. So it really is important to sort of not put off that stage, because if you need to plant the seed when you need the shelter or you need the fruits, it's too late. You need to think ahead, and it's all about planning ahead and making sure you kind of think it through and just be always kind of just thinking forward and yeah, being prepared, I guess. And then it's all about your vibrations. So how are you vibrating? What are you kind of putting out there? You know, the kind of lowest one is shame, and then just kind of looking at all of those things and just making sure that you can keep that vibration high in order to obviously attract the kinds of things that you want in your life, and just being very conscious of that, because it matters. It's all about your thoughts and the way that you are. So again, it's discipline, again, it's habits. So many things in our world, I think, is all about your micro habits. You know, nothing it isn't necessarily the big things, it's just the little things that you do every day that all combine up. It's that cumulative effect, it's that compound effect of all of those things coming together day by day, week by week. It's like saying, well, you know, I've had one salad, so I must be healthy. You know, it's doing it every day. It's that consistency that really that sort of reaps the benefits in the end. And then, you know, combining all of those things just makes you into a magnet, and success and opportunities just come your way because of that. So that's just the second piece. It's kind of like I'm trying to do everything all at once. It's trying to get all those pieces in place rather than just one at a time. So the next step I call Spendonomics, and it's all about the power of spend. So I was just wondering if you knew that being wealthy is just as much about spend as it is about earning. You know, and it just like an example is Michael Jackson. He earned about $1 billion in his lifetime, but then he spent about $1 billion as well. So, you know, it's so much about, you know, how you are with spending, because, you know, he was penniless pretty much when he died. I'm sure he had a couple of assets here and there, but, you know, you get the point. It's like, it's amazing when people get pay rises, their spending pattern just so happens to rise with it, you know, and so they're no better off, and it just keeps going like that. So it's just getting into that discipline. Again, it's those sort of day-to-day decisions, and really, you know, it's about doing it sensibly, and as I said, I'm going to say in a second, it's just about spending joyously. And I think that it's just another kind of mindset shift in trying to sort of get that balance right between spending and saving and all of those things. But basically, if you say, you know, spend less, and instead of that portion that you don't spend, you actually turn it into assets. Now that's more sensible, because you can, if you spend it on assets that then pay you, then it's a virtuous circle, and it kind of, you know, it all just builds. So you've kind of, this is our model in terms of, you know, all the income, the earnings, the savings, investments, windfalls coming into your income, and then you've got your outgoings. So if you can, and you know, various different outgoings, and some of it will go into savings, but if you can just put a proportion back into the assets, then the income just becomes income, and then that goes back into the income, and it just keeps going round. You just keep buying assets with it, and it's just a virtuous circle that overall just builds your net worth. So yes, it's all about spending joyously and just keeping that balance right. And it's those daily habits. And I was just, it's quite curious. Again, it's that sort of psychological piece. But if you show me someone's spreadsheet of their spend patterns, I can tell you what's important to them. It's amazing, how you can really identify someone's. I'm sure Mitesh could attest that as an accountant. But it's very interesting, because obviously you can tell me what you like, but it's what you actually spend. It's what you actually putting your skin in the game about that really sort of counts. So it's worth every so often to, for yourself to go through your numbers and really sort of check, what you're actually spending it on, and make sure that it still works for you, because it may have worked at some point, but then you put these direct debits in, it just all comes out, and maybe it isn't relevant anymore. Maybe you're subscribing to things that you no longer watch or no longer use, so it's just such a good discipline to, once a year, just to go through those numbers and make sure that it all still works. And when you look at your numbers, it brings clarity. So once you have clarity, you know what to do. It's that real strategic sort of thinking. But it's, if you treat your life more like a business and just have some discipline in there, and do your P&L and do your balance sheet and just really understand it, then you have much more understanding of what to do next. It just all, even if it's not a good picture, I've got clients who are really in debt, but even that, once you see it all laid out, it just becomes much clearer what to do next. So so know your numbers. So treat your life more like a business, and just, as I said, just, produce different things. Balance sheet, P&L, it's not that hard. It's just, it's, we do it for work. Why not do it for ourselves? Businesses do it for a reason, because they want to make a profit. So why not do it as an individual as well? So, you don't have to do it all the time, but it's just something to do every so often to sort of just keep yourself in check and see. And it's, and it's, as I said, I had a client who, looked at her numbers, and she had this unbelievable thousands and thousands of dollars she was spending on clothes. It was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then, digging deeper, it turned out that when she was little, her mum and dad used to really row all the time, but he was only nice to her when she was looking pretty. So she had this kind of mindset that, oh, I have to look nice, I have to look pretty. So she was like that real sort of emphasis on, it was unbelievable amount that she was spending, but it was just this, again, her program was, oh, I must look pretty, I must make sure I look the part. And then we're on to step 5, which is now into investing and just having a strategic view of investments. So as we said at the beginning, we really don't have to just rely on our job to make money. And it's interesting because I think a lot of people think that investing is risky. But in some ways, actually, it's the other way around, because if you're just relying on your job to one income or two incomes, and that's it, actually, that's more risky, because then what if you lose your job? What if you can't work? Then what? So really speaking, if you can have a very diversified portfolio, that is actually taking away risk if you know what you're doing and you're not just taking the latest tip or whatever. If you're doing it in a strategic way, then actually you're spreading your risk rather than actually increasing it. But I think a lot of people think it's risky because they just don't know how to do it. So of course they're going to think it's risky, and I guess it is if you don't know what you're doing. It's like anything, you wouldn't skateboard or water ski if you didn't know what you're doing, right? So I guess it's the same thing, really. So you can build a series of money taps that pay you whether or not you're working, and it's that idea that you can have an array of different things, and you're just leveraging. There's only one of you or two of you, but you can leverage your time, your energy, so that it's coming in whether or not you're actually alert and awake and earning. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a grind. I think that's the sort of key message, really, is that you can spread the risk and make it easier for yourself. And there are 4 key areas of wealth building. So the first one is a low input business. So that is, things that you put a lot of energy into at the start, and then they kind of reap the benefits afterwards. So it could be that you're writing a book, writing a song, doing a course, things like that, which, it's a lot of upfront work, but then after that, it's sort of low input. Then you've got things that are tangible assets. So you've got, a house in there, you've got, I actually put crypto in there as well, but things like paintings or wine, if you know what you're doing there, it's all those things that you actually buy, physical things that are about to accumulate in value. But I said crypto goes in there because even though it isn't tangible in one sense, it has, especially Bitcoin, has elements like gold, which I kind of categorize there as something which is finite, and so I put it in there. Then you've got your equities, which is your shares, and then finally you've got you, which is in some ways the biggest investment, because investing in yourself means that you can keep making sure that you are able to build wealth, and you can have a job, whatever it is, whatever you do with your time. So that's a big investment, but it's the combination of factors, and if you can have things in all those different areas, and that really helps to to diversify. And then this whole piece about thinking like an investor, and it's quite interesting because it's only a few tweaks that are required to your mindset. It's not a massive change that you need to kind of do. It's just slightly different tweaks. You just slightly think differently. You just see the world a little bit differently, which actually makes all the difference. Again, I keep talking about these little incremental things, but it's just tweaks that make a difference. And if you think like an investor, then you're kind of sniffing out opportunities, and there's lots of ways that you can do that. And it is about, as I said, planting the seeds, laws of cause and effect, thinking ahead, and not thinking about now. It's all about, you can have now. If you planted the seeds 10 years ago, 5 years ago, then it's now, but otherwise you're just thinking ahead all the time until you have your, nature has a process. We can't interfere with that process. We just have to sort of harness it and work with it. Don't forget to actually plant the seeds. So it's really, we need a vision. I think, investing is very much about seeing the future. It's like, where do we think things are going? Because once we know where we think things are going, then we can think about the companies and the industries and the sectors that are going to make that happen. So it's like, what are the industries of the future? What elements will we need in the future? So I think it's very much a case of just trying to get that vision of what it is going to be like, and then position yourself accordingly, because it's companies that are going to get us there, so you can hang on to those coattails and benefit from, which is kind of fun as well. I mean, I always think of investing as really good fun, because a lot of people love football and they support their favorite football teams. Well, I see investing in a similar way. I support companies, and I find it really exciting when companies do something, and it's just like, oh my goodness, it's like, what's my company? I think it was my company, and it's just quite exciting, because when you've got skin in the game, then it kind of helps you, and it is quite exciting. So yeah, I just love that. So it just, it's really important to learn how the different investments vehicles work. There's nothing that's particularly tricky. I think the industry makes you think that it's a very difficult thing. They give you all these technical terms, and it's all very dry, and the colors are all very kind of dark colors, and and they tend to be sort of older men in a suit. It's all very sort of, it's almost like this theatre to sort of make it, oh no, you couldn't do that, and so people go, oh, it's too difficult, I'm going to give it to someone else to do, but then nobody cares about your money more than you do, right? So it's important to at least understand how it all works. Even if you are going to then give it to someone, at least you know what good looks like. If you sort of go into it blindly, how do you know what they're doing? How do you know if what they're doing is good or bad? You know, you just need to have a basic understanding. And then when you, it's like anything, you know, if you're in business and you recruit a marketer, it's important to know what good marketing looks like too. So it's just having that level of knowledge and just knowing kind of what to do. And crypto is one of my favorites. I just think really is going to be the future, and you know, the future is now, and there's so much happening in the crypto market. And I think that, you know, a lot of people think of crypto as, you know, currency or coins, but actually it's so much more than that. You know, it's the way I see crypto is, you know, tech companies, you know, they are also shaping the future. You know, it's almost like you had the internet, which is a, you know, major revolution, but it's almost like another level on top of that, because it's all of those, you know, they're rewriting how they do things. You can do things with the blockchain that you just couldn't do before. You know, so you could, for example, if you had some tomatoes that you saw in the supermarket, you can track them all the way back to where they grew, you know, who picked them, where did they go in the warehouse, who distributed them, you know, how long they've, you know, etc. So you can kind of track it all the way back. Well, that's on the blockchain, and that's something that we could never do before. So it's all of those things. There were just millions and millions of examples of things that are now being created through the blockchain that weren't even possible before. So I think if you just see it like that, it's just like, why do you need like 11,000 coins? You know, surely one's enough. But it's about that. It's about investing in new technologies. So investing is about, you know, setting solid foundations and, you know, starting with tried and tested to get that firm foundation. You know, just really starting wide and solid. And then when you get experience, then you can go up the pyramid and try different things and just, you know, be more specific in terms of the companies you invest in, for example, and the things that you do. There's lots of, you can diversify in lots of different ways in terms of what you invest in, how you invest. That's another way of diversifying. So there's all these different techniques that you can use, but it's about getting those foundations right and building confidence, you know, just really kind of, you know, dipping your toe in. You know, there's no need to just jump in. It's just dipping your toe in, seeing how it goes, learning, getting more confidence, dipping your toe in more, and it's just kind of building up slowly. And slowly you kind of learn how to do it, and it, you know, and you can get confident very quickly, but it's just, you have to get your skin in the game to be able to get that confidence. You can't get it without actually doing the work. And the way I kind of always like to invest is the barometer is, can you sleep well at night? So it's always about, you know, just diversifying enough and you know, and knowing enough that you can kind of put, you know, invest in different things and know that, you know, at least some of them are going up. So, you know, you always know that things are going up. So you kind of, you know, you're never kind of, everything's going down at the same time. So it's just learning how to do that. And I think this was what must be step 6 actually, but get some muscle memory. That's the last step, to get some muscle memory. So, you know, I guess everything in life really, you get rewarded for actions. So, you know, as I said, start small and learn as you go, but just start. You know, it's important to start getting that muscle memory so that you know what to do next time. And I think having a mentor to show you how to do it is a really great idea, because, you know, I've invested for like 40 odd years, 40 odd years, more than 40 years. So, you know, there's a lot of things to learn in 40 years. And I guess, you know, you could spend lots of years doing it, but it just shortcuts it really. So I guess, really speaking, it's worth it, because there are years, and, you know, you can make a lot of mistakes when you're, you know, not doing it. In fact, the client, luckily it wasn't my fault, I didn't teach her this, but my client was doing some options trading this last night in America overnight, and she phoned me in a panic because she did a trade and she did it the wrong way around. This is very complicated, but I won't explain it, but basically she did it the wrong way around. So instead of instead of buying this trade, she sold it. And if she carried the trade all the way through to the end, it might cost her $200,000. Like, oh my God, literally just by pressing the wrong button, she would have. So I've told her how to get out of it, so she'll be fine. But the point is, you really need to know. I mean, none of the trades that I would teach you is anything like that, but it's just interesting, isn't it? How, you really do need to know what you're doing, because what we do is we do some live trades. So I tell you exactly which buttons to press and how to. So once you do it, once or twice, you know what you're doing. But it's just getting that confidence, just having someone hold your hand and going, okay, yeah, you just make sure you don't, you mustn't do it this way, because then it means that. So always make sure you do this. And it just kind of just has that kind of reassurance. So yeah, we do practice live trades, which is very exciting. And, we do, it's crypto as well as equities as well. So bringing it all together, there's this, we call the easy model. So it's just thinking about abundance from the really holistic perspective. So we think about attitude, we think about earnings, we think about how do we spend, we think about how do we save, and we think about how we invest. So bringing everything together, the universal energies coming into that as well, just all of the pieces coming together at once. So rather than just saying, okay, how do I invest? What do I do there? It's just bringing it all together at once. And just remember that you're in control. I think that, I think it's easy to feel at sea and just being buffeted around by the waves. But I think that knowledge brings power, and, you are in control, and you can do all these things. You don't have to rely on some expert to do it for you. You can do this. It's not hard. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I've got a quick testimony if you don't mind, but she says that she talks about how you can do it. It doesn't, you think it was too hard, like, investing, no, it's too hard. And then it's like, yeah, just learn about it. Like, what's the deal here? So it's quite interesting. I just wanted to tell you about my program, because I think it's a really interesting program, because it takes you on that whole journey. So it takes you all of those 6 steps. So we start way, way back. We talk about all the things that happened to your ancestors. We think about what caused your money story. Why do you act the way that you do around money? What is it? Why, I'm always asking the question, why do humans behave in the way? It's fascinating. Why do we do things that are detrimental to ourselves? Why do we push money away? Why do we say no when we should have said yes? Why are we, we self-sabotage, we speak to ourselves badly. Human beings are curious creatures. I don't think any other species does things that genuinely are bad for us. So it's just really understanding what it is, because there's always a reason. It's just trying to get the bottom of what that reason is. So looking into all of those belief systems and truly understanding what makes you tick. And then installing preferred beliefs. We have an opportunity to actually make it better. So then we have the next step is getting our foundations in place, and that's all the universal energies, just understanding how money works, just how that kind of whole thing works in terms of, building wealth. They were just sort of rules and laws and things that just know about it, and then you can just work with it, so you can set yourself up for success. And then we set some goals in there as well, and just harnessing all those universal laws. Then we get a deep dive into your numbers. We really get clarity on that, and that's really quite exciting, just getting that and just seeing where the money leaks are. You can get rid of those, and it's so good because just that one alone, people save thousands and thousands just on this, because it's just getting clarity, and you're just like, oh my God, do I spend all that on, wow, and suddenly you can just cut thousands and thousands just on this one. Then we do spend for success. So it's just that other side of it. So it's like, how do you do it? So it's just spending joyously, it's understanding those patterns and just finding more efficiencies in life and just challenging the way that you do things. And then it's about building that strategic portfolio of investments. So it gets more and more kind of rolling sleeves up and practical, but then we have our overview of the different asset classes, how they work, which works best in different economic environments. We look at the different tools that you can use to actually work out which is working really well now, and then choosing investment strategies that give really good returns, which also help you to sleep well at night. So that's also our barometer of success, is that sleep well at night measure. And then finally, we actually get started. We actually get practical. We look at all the different tools. We, actually invest live, and we actually do it. We set up an account, and then we can look at equities. We can look at crypto, and yeah. So actually, you get that visceral experience, so you know exactly how to do it and what buttons to press. And because it's a group coaching, I wanted to make sure that it all lands correctly. So it's 6 sessions plus an additional one-to-one, which I think is really important to sort of get that, to bring it all together for you and make sure that it all kind of works for you. So this is the program, 6 2-hour group mentoring. We've got 1.5 hour one-to-one session. We'll bring it together in a WhatsApp group, and then we'll have email support as well. So that's the value of 3,200, but the charge is actually 1,800. But if you want to book it this week, then it goes down to 1,280. So it'd be lovely to have any of you. I'd love you to be on my program. It's really, really cool. It's really it's life-changing, really. As I said, it's not just about money. I think that initially people come onto it for money, but it's about building yourself up on a much broader level. I've kind of transformed myself, and I'm sort of helping people to sort of do the same for themselves as well. And obviously money is a byproduct of that, but it's even bigger than just the money. So here's the thing. I'll just play a bit of this one. Yeah, it's 5 minutes.
So just to bring that alignment was beautiful. I just loved connecting to my ancestors as well. A lot of that.
Oh, can you hear that?
Stuff, the scarcity, they didn't have money, so that's still being in my system. The belief system, the energy around money too. So really, I feel like I don't have any judgment around money anymore. It's just stuff. Moves in, moves out, no attachment, doesn't make me worthy of, having it or not having it or whatever. And it's opened up so much. I've started trading. I think I always had this block around it, like, oh, well, I don't know how to do this. But now it's like, well, I just learn. I just, like I do with everything else, I just put in energy. So I'm leaving this time allocated to working on this, and just enjoying it, just researching, just having some fun with it. But the main thing I got is my why. I feel this ease with money now, not this hardship. Used to be, money was hard, was so much in my energy field, but now I just feel this ease about money and just, enjoying it for what it is. And the reason to have it is so that I can be grateful and expand and give more. And I don't feel like we're meant to worry about money because it keeps our energy heavy, and there's so much there for everybody. So it's for us to receive it and hold a space for others to receive it, and we can all be abundant. Like, there's so much possibility out there.
Definitely. I love the way that you're embodying that, because you can say the words and you know it intellectually, but you seem to be saying it viscerally all throughout yourself. So it's a different energy altogether.
I love work, foundations and things. So we're going to create our own, where we're going to empower and get Aboriginal women, and we've got an orphanage in India. So we're going to actually get these jobs.
Wow.
That's just all happening. We're going to be able to buy them computers, things like that, train them up, and then, we'll be able to give them jobs. So it's very, very exciting.
Wow. Oh my God, it's all happening.
It is well.
Yeah. You blew me away.
Yeah.
It was always there. I always saw I would develop a foundation supporting women for, well, they were abused really, and that's.
Well, do you want to carry on? I feel like I'm conscious that it's going on, but anyway, you get the sense of that, which is really cool. So that was, I mean, she's, you know, and that was only, she was only like a week after, so it's really sort of all happened for her, which is amazing. So I do also wanted to say that it's a complete 100% money back guaranteed as well. So so you know, so if you get to the end of the course and not happy, then I just, you know, give you your money back as well. So so that's it really. So there's a link. I'll put that in the chat if you like. So if you want to get in touch and schedule a call with me, I'd love to chat to you. And if you have any questions or anything like that, then please, I'll stop sharing. Get the link. There's the link. How to sing on messages. Money is energy. Yeah. Wow, interest rates are at 90%. Wow. Cool. So have you got any questions or comments or observations?
Yeah, I would say thanks, Heather, for sharing this, because yeah, look, I'm being an accountant myself, and telling my clients how to generate passive income, and investing is so important in our life. Is like if we don't start thinking about all these things now, then yeah, at some point in time it will become too late to even think about it, right? Like I deal with clients, and sometimes I see young people starting up to think about all these things now, whereas I have some of them maybe in their 50s and 60s and don't have enough money in their passive income or retirement. So, you know, thanks for sharing this, and yeah, bringing up again that generating passive income is so important.
Thank you. Thanks, Mitesh.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Bianca, have you got any thoughts or comments or?
Yeah, that was really good. Some, you know, few light bulb moments. Things that are really interesting. I mean, we've just literally jumped in with, you know, 2 feet straight away into doing some investing in shares and investment portfolios, investment in EFTs. But, you know, it's still a bit scary. It's still, you know, Lana's doing most of the work. So she's sitting there, you know, with a laptop and in that fund and going, oh, what do I do here? What do I do there? And
yeah, that's great. So what ones would you
understand more? Like we haven't even talked about, you know, all the things that you mentioned about, you know, why and the goals and things like that. We just sort of felt like it was sitting over here doing absolutely nothing, and spoke to a friend that said, oh, this is what I'm doing. So I said, oh yeah, that sounds good. Let's dive in and do it. But we're not, I don't think, you know, what you're talking about is the strategy, which is really amazing, but also what are all the underlying energies that come with that, you know, and that's not what we're addressing right now. And I think that's really important to highlight as well, that you can certainly dive in with, you know, everything and blind us on and let's just do it and see what happens, sink or swim. But I think working on those energies and really keeping your vibration high and focusing on the things that you want to create with that, but also looking at what are the belief systems, what are the values that you may have taken on from your parents and other people around you over time that are not serving you anymore. I think that's a real key element too, in understanding the money aspect and understanding wealth, and you know, the impact that it has of what you are thinking and what the underlying currents are that you might not be aware of. And I love the fact that you said as well to treat your life like a business. I mean, we've got everything on an online accounting system as well. So we've got our balance sheet and our profit and loss and all that with our personal finances. And we're not really keeping track of it though. But it makes you feel good to be able to print off a P&L and go, oh, okay, what have we got? But when we started that, it was an eye-opener for us because we could really see black on white, like this is where our money goes, because we had the automatic bank feeds and we could just allocate it. And that also helped us a few years ago to really look at the expenses and stuff already. But yeah, we need to do an overhaul again to just, you know, get back on track in that regard.
It is, because it all adds up, you know. It's funny
yeah.
how, you know, it's like all those small amounts, you know, that does that. I remember once when I was in my 20s, I remember phoning up the credit card company going, I think you've added it up wrong, because there was all these like small numbers and the number at the bottom was so big, it was like, this can't be right. So she sort of humoured me and she did add it up. It's like, yeah, it's correct.
Yeah.
It is an eye-opener, and I think, you know, it's just bringing awareness to it, you know. And what you said about energies, you know, we're energetic beings, and whatever you put energies into is what you get. So, you know, it's important to kind of, you know, get it right and to vibrate all of those things, you know, because, you know, it's the money is just an outward manifestation of what's going on inside. So it's just a case of getting that piece right, and then everything else just gets that much easier.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, awesome.
Thank you. I didn't actually mention that the course starts next week, actually. It's the same time.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's it should be amazing. It's like I've run it a few times now, and it just really does produce like amazing results. It's like, yeah, it's actually really quite an honor for me to hold that space and to allow that kind of transformation, because it's really amazing. It's really, like, better than I was imagining, you know. So
exactly. Yeah. I feel the same working with my clients as well, especially in the group format. You know, you can see just the little light bulb switch on, or just amazing to see that happening in a short amount of time, you know, sometimes even in one session. It's like, transformation happens in front of your eyes. It's amazing.
Yeah, really. And of course, you're very much into energies and all of that thing as well. So
it's very familiar language what you were talking about.
Wow, it's amazing. So Bianca, she talks to animals, and oh my God, it's like amazing. Yeah,
I talk to animals, and I help people to understand what, you know, who they are at a soul level, and what their spiritual abilities are that they can utilize in this lifetime as well. Yeah. So it's all about vibration, energy, alignment.
I haven't heard anyone doing something like that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, we're popping up. We've been hiding for many years, but
wonderful. It's wonderful that these you know, that you can practice this, and it's because it's so needed. You know, we don't
100%.
We just don't, you know, everything's so much on the surface, you know, especially, you know, there's just this century, or this last century, it was all about the here and now, you know, it was all about possessions and this and that, but it was never about, you know, that spiritual. And even religion isn't particularly spiritual, you know. So it's that whole piece around spirituality has so been lost. So it's so wonderful that you're doing that work.
I mean, at the core, I think religion is very spiritual, and it all comes down to the same spiritual laws and concepts, but the way it's executed and promoted, that, you know, it leaves a bit to be desired. And that gives it a bad name, you know.
I know, but it just sort of comes down to power in the end, which is like completely unspiritual.
Very unspiritual. Yes.
As unspiritual as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming along. Well, you've got my link if you're interested to just have a chat or whatever. That's my link. So so thank you. Thank you
So much, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
Thank
you
for your time.
Thanks. Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.